I was just thinking, a thought came to me that the difference between Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda, and the Holy Mother. We always say that they are one reality in three, appearing as three. But what about the differences? I was just thinking, if you look at the Holy Mother's life, as the Swami was saying, a typical day would be from very early in the morning, before the sun rose, she would be up. A day of not only prayer and meditation and devotion, but also hard work. She looked after so many people. Everybody was her child. She cooked and cleaned and fed and consoled, managed money, money matters, and so many things. The ashram, difficult people. Some were crazy, some were childish, some were greedy, some were complicated, and some were very good. They were saintly. She was surrounded by saints, she was surrounded by ordinary people, she was surrounded by outright crooks also. But they all felt her presence and her divinity, and she uplifted everybody. Now, what she showed was, in the midst of all of that, we can be spiritual. Sri Ramakrishna lived the life. He shone with spirituality. Swami Vivekananda spread the message all across the world, especially here. But Sri Sarada Devi showed us how we can do it in our day-to-day lives. Sri Ramakrishna was an ecstatic, a mystic. There's very few of us who can live a life like that. It's impossible, almost impossible. Swami Vivekananda was one of those people who come once in many generations, not even a generation, many generations. A mystic himself, a philosopher, a preacher, a world shaker and mover. He's molding today's world. The more and more I see East and West, you see the influence of Swami Vivekananda behind many things in the world today. Again, very rare. There are very few of us who can live like that. I remember when I was a young monk in our Ramakrishna mission, Deoghar, a young man came to be a monk. And I met him and I asked him in front of the temple, "Why do you want to be a monk?" And he said, well, all he had read was Swami Vivekananda coming to Chicago World Parliament of Religions. He said, "I would like to go to the World Parliament of Religions and talk about it." I said, "That's been done. That's been done." That's not for us. I mean, humor apart, people sometimes say, well, Swami Vivekananda was one, but how many more have been produced like it? More are not necessary. That message has to transform our lives, and that's what's necessary. That's the whole purpose of it. Now, how do you do that? Actually, in the midst of ordinary lives, quotidian lives, our day-to-day lives. And that's Sarada Devi. The kind of life she led from early morning till night, that hard work, and not the so-called spiritual work, not meditation and philosophy and ecstasies, and the kind of people. Sri Ramakrishna was generally surrounded by spiritual seekers. Swami Vivekananda, he was surrounded by people who were eager to know, to drink in the knowledge he was giving them. But the Holy Mother was surrounded by people of the world, all kinds of people. I was thinking, if Sri Ramakrishna had been told to do that you, from the morning, no more Kali and meditation and ecstasies and singing. You have to get up and cook and clean and feed these people and take care of money. Terrible thing for Sri Ramakrishna. He couldn't touch it. He would immediately fly into samadhi. He would stand like this. Absolutely. He would have nothing to do with it. And Swami Vivekananda did not want to do all this work. If you read his life, all he wanted was to retreat into the Himalayas and stay in a cave and meditate. And meditate and meditate. He used to say that, give me a book and a nook. If he had been asked, look after the crazy ant and Radhu and Maku and deal with these people who are not interested in Vedanta philosophy. They want to get money out of you. They want to harass you. He would have fled into his beloved Himalayan caves. He would have to do none of this. But the Holy Mother did it day after day, month after month, year after year, and all her life. And yet, she was serene. She was calm. She was joyful. She was a source of spiritual strength to saint and sinner. So, for a dacoit, a robber, and for the saintly Swami Saradananda, she says, as Sharat is my child, so is Amjad my child. A simple thing, but it's not all that simple, and she means every word of it. They're equally her children. That's a mother's heart. So it shows us in our lives how we can be spiritual day to day throughout our lives, how it can help us and help us to rise above. Her teachings are so gentle but so deep. Just one example. I was reading this morning. She says, just like a waterfall flowing downwards, the mind, the nature of the mind is downward. It will go down into the world. But under the influence of the sun, the radiance of the sun, the same water rises high in the sky. Evaporation clouds. And in the same way, by the grace of God, that same mind, it dwells on higher things, on sublime things. How does the grace of God come upon us? She says, think about God. Keep your mind on God. If you love human love, she says, my child, human love is full of suffering. There is suffering in human love. But the blessed is the one who loves God alone. In the love of God, there is no suffering. Remember, it's not a dichotomy. She's not saying love God and forget about human beings. We have to see it in the light of her life. She loved everybody deeply and individually. Each person felt that she is my mother. It's not a general, she's talking to an audience. Each person felt that she was giving me her full attention. So this transcendent yet immanent love, this is the core of the teaching of the Divine Mother. Today we pray to Sri Ramakrishna, to the Holy Mother, to Swami Vivekananda, to Swami Shivanandaji. May they bless all of us. Fill our hearts with joy and love and strength. Let our minds remain on God as we journey through this amazing experience of life.